Strike one, strike two, strike 10, and you're out. Yes, Donald Trump made 10 separate attempts to try to adjourn or stop the Manhattan District Attorney criminal trial against him from starting on Monday, April 15th, including three emergency, which were not really emergency, but three emergency appeals this week. Donald Trump lost each and every one of them instantly, including one yesterday. It seems that Donald Trump has run out of time and the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case is going to proceed. We will talk about what is happening. Well, what is happening with Donald Trump is he's absolutely losing his mind. He's posting selfie videos of himself saying, "This is BS. This is all BS." And he's cursing on the videos and just posting videos of him cursing. Great job, Republican Party. Also, speaking of which, there are more videos from this leaked footage of Trump's event at Mar-a-Lago for Kari Lake that are emerging. And these videos show Donald Trump doing things like praising who he calls the great Alphonse Capone, and Trump specifically praises Capone for killing people. And then Trump, in more selfie videos of himself, says that radical windmills are harming America. We'll show you the receipts there. Donald Trump also says that states should be permitted to punish women and doctors for reproductive care, and this as the Arizona Supreme Court upholds an 18-4 ban that does just that. More chaos in the Republican Party as MAGA Republicans are attacking each other at a very personal level as well, like not talking to each other, just all around very strange. We'll break that down. Also, more of Donald Trump's stock crashing, more of Donald Trump crashing in the polls, and more Donald Trump losing every day as President Biden just goes on and does like the normal stuff, whether it's on the campaign, actually building an operation that functions to, it's a novel concept, I know, but like get out the vote and mobilize voters and reserve ads. And on the policy front, President Biden focusing on issues that matter to the American people and talking about actual issues. How about that? Well, I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Podcast. I'm joined by Brett and Jordy. A historic episode indeed. This will be our last live show before. Don't worry, we're going to be doing live shows for a very long time.
You're scared everybody.
Before the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case starts. This is the fraudulent business records case involving Donald Trump's subsequent payment of hush money payments, and then making these fraudulent business record cover it in order to interfere with the 2016 election. As I mentioned at the outset, strike one, strike two, strike 10, you're out. Brett, Jordy, how are you?
Yeah, Jordy's mentioned in the past that I think we need to like get you up to date on the sports knowledge with the references and stuff. But I'll accept 10 strikes, you're out. It's usually 3 strikes, you're out. But I see where you're going with it. But I'm just messing with you, Ben. Don't worry about it. No, I'm this was a very, very, very big week. And Ben, when you were saying that President Biden was out there speaking to the voters about the issues that matter most, like Al Capone, executed by sharks, that kind of stuff. Was that trying to a real issue? So I see. I got to adjust, adjust for that. Now, it's interesting. This week really has felt like such a momentum shift. Occasionally you kind of hit a moment that feels like almost like a level up in a way, and that's what this week has felt like.
Level up.
So, is that a song?
It is.
Oh,
and so
you guys know the songs. I know the sports.
Yeah. So that's what you bring. Of course, you got to balance.
It's what everybody wants in a political podcast. Someone to bring the sports
and the music. That's what they come here for. So I think if we look back, to President Biden's State of the Union speech, I think that is clearly a defining moment that we can look to as that was the real kickoff of the Biden campaign. That was the moment where Biden went on offense and Biden changed the narrative. I think this week is a momentous week where Donald Trump really destroyed his own campaign and Biden took the opportunity to run with that. And the race shifted immensely this week, even if we don't feel it right now necessarily. And we are feeling it in a lot of ways by all the data that's coming out. But I think this could be the defining week that we look back on months from now as being like, yes, that was the moment where it all went the right way. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling very good energy. I hope everybody in the pro-democracy community is feeling good energy. Jordy, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good energy. And the thing with that, Brett, it's like we always say with these MAGA Republicans, right? They're professional rake steppers. No one asked Trump to release that video. He just did it on his own. He's like, I need to say this because I'm a lunatic, essentially. And he got it out there. And I don't know who his audience was for that video. It seemed to make everybody angry. And it was some disgusting, lies he was perpetuating on that video. And it's just, to your point, we're going to be looking back at this week very specifically to 3 months down the line from now and be like, that was the week where it really all started to go south in a more public way for Donald Trump.
There's so many things he says that are lies and are offensive. So it's hard to rank. Is this more offensive than that? No, but one of the things that he and the MAGA Republicans often say is they're like, and what the Democrats really want is abortion after the baby is born or at 9 months. And it's like, you just think women are idiots, don't you, Donald Trump? You think that that's what people think happens. You think that's what takes place. You think you can just say things like that, right? Abortion care is health care. Health care is abortion care. And, we've had so many people share their heartfelt stories with us. And I'm so honored and privileged that you would trust us with these stories and to share them, but to hear from women, not from men, but to hear from women about how the overturning of Roe v. Wade and then the subsequent decisions like the Arizona Supreme Court decision has taken away essential health care and has placed their lives at risk every day has touched me so, has been something that I take to heart so much. And then you have this Arizona Supreme Court ruling where the Arizona Supreme Court this week upheld the abortion ban signed into law in 1864 before Arizona was even a state. It's a total ban on abortion without exceptions for rape or incest. It criminalizes abortion and calls for the imprisonment of doctors who perform abortions and anyone who assists a person receiving an abortion. And then Donald Trump went out and he talked about it when he was in Atlanta after giving that ridiculous statement. And Trump was asked a pretty direct question about, would you support a state's right to punish the doctors who provide reproductive care? And Donald Trump says he would. He said, I'll leave that to the states. Here, let's play this clip.
Question. You answered some questions about abortion, but do you think a doctor should be punished who perform abortions?
I'll let that be to the states. Everything we're doing now is states and states' rights. And what we wanted to do is get it back to the states, because for 53 years it's been a fight. And now the states are handling it. And some have handled it very well, and the others will end up handling it very well. And those are the things that states are going to make a determination about. Okay?
Here's a flashback to when Donald Trump said that women should be punished for seeking reproductive care. Let's play that clip.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
And then while Trump was traveling, he called the overturning of Roe v. Wade a, quote, incredible thing. Let's play this clip.
So for 52 years, people have wanted to end Roe v. Wade to get it back to the states. We did that. It was an incredible thing, an incredible achievement. We did that. And now the states have it, and the states are putting out what they want. People are very happy with my statement on abortion. And you'll see it'll look at everything about abortion. It was all about bringing it back to the states.
No, it's about women's rights. It's not about states' rights. It's about women's rights and women's health care. Then when Donald Trump was taking that trip, this all happened in the past, 24, 48 hours. Donald Trump decides he wants to attack Jewish Americans in an anti-Semitic rant. Let's play this clip.
And any Jewish person that votes for a Democrat or votes for Biden should have their head examined.
Trump then starts making selfie videos of himself and says that the radical left wants windmills to destroy our country. Let's play this clip.
That group is radical left. They want windmills. They want all sorts of things that are going to destroy our country, and we're not going to allow it.
Should be noted, too, on the prior video, 70% of Jewish voters actually voted for Biden in the new Pew Research poll, which is, you know, the gold standard in kind of demographic research, shows that the support there is similar today. We'll talk more about that a little bit later in the show. Donald Trump is at Mar-a-Lago giving a speech where he goes on a racist rant about New York Attorney General Letitia James, who he calls Letitia Jones. Let's play this clip.
They put him into the state of New York and then ultimately into the DA's office to run the case. This is being run by Biden. They put a man in to the state, Letitia Jones, peekaboo, I call her, peekaboo. They put a man into that one to Letitia. They put a man into that one to run it, and then he went into the DA's office.
Put a man into this one. I kind of know what I think he's trying to talk about, but he can't put sentences together. And then he makes another selfie video of himself where he says, he just starts cursing and goes, "The charges against me are bullshit." Here, play this clip.
So they weaponize government and they take me to court on bullshit. So we are going to win. We're going to win big. We're going to go through these horrible Biden trials. And at the end of the day, November 5th, everyone's coming out to vote for Trump. Thank you very much.
Okay, it just starts. I mean, just think about that. I mean, he's there making videos of himself cursing, like calling him Biden trials. Look, you paid hush money payments to an adult film actress who you had 3 seconds of sex with, who said you have small genitals because you were trying to cover up this affair or this relationship or sex. Not an affair. 3 seconds of sex does not make an affair. I'll give you that. And what she described it as was absolutely revolting and disgusting, but she'll testify to that at trial. But trying to cover that up to interfere with the results of the 2016 election and falsifying business records, that's not a Biden trial. That's you, Donald Trump, are disgusting. And then speaking about disgusting, this is Donald Trump speaking. This was some more leaked footage from that Mar-a-Lago event where he speaks fondly of Al Capone's ability to murder people and get away with it. Play this clip.
And before I became well known as somebody that was indicted more than Alphonse Capone, the legendary Alphonse Capone. You know, Al Capone, if he took somebody to dinner and he didn't like them, he'd kill them. If somebody looked at him the wrong way, he would kill them. He once had a date, very lovely young lady, and the man next to him tried to pick her up. Guess what happened to him? It wasn't good. Scarface, they call him. It was not good to go after Alphonse Capone's girlfriend. I'll teach that to these guys. You don't want to do that, but it was not a good situation. He got indicted less than I did, Alphonse. I got indicted 4 times. He only got indicted 2 times. Now, the good news is our poll numbers went through the roof. The bad news is I have to deal with these maniacs. They're maniacs.
Well, the poll numbers are not going through the roofs, but just think about that. Pause for a moment and reflect that this is the leader of the Republican Party who praises Al Capone, a mafia leader's assassinations and executions of his enemies, and Donald Trump praises that and speaks fondly of that. I want to show you this as well. Donald Trump's things that he's been posting in the past few weeks, and also the conduct of Lara Trump, who's now running the RNC. If you just show this image that we created here, you'll see on the bottom of this image, Donald Trump has been, that's why I don't want to forget that Donald Trump's been doing these things recently because it's so disgusting. And I know he does a lot of things and it's like moving on to the next egregious thing. Well, he's making AI-generated photos of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in bathing suits and lingerie, and then posting those photos that, frankly, sexually harassing Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, and he's doing this from his account on Trump Media. No wonder the stock of Trump Media is absolutely crashing when it's that kind of misogynistic and despicable conduct. Down about 28% in the past week and another 5% this week, and it's lost basically more than 50% of its value this month. And then if you're looking at the top and wondering what the heck is going on there, you know, I talked about this before when this appearance went down, but the more I think about it, I don't want to stop talking about that, because put this image up one more time. That's a right-wing podcaster. So this is who, like, the right-wingers and the MAGAs watch. He's a very popular podcaster. He really got famous when he sexually harassed AOC in person when she was walking up Capitol Hill, and he said a number of really despicable things about her that I don't want to repeat. And he's parlayed that into this show of his. And Lara Trump went on the show, and during the show, really for no reason at all, like it had nothing to do with the show. One of the producers, while Lara Trump is there, hands the host a baby doll, and Alex Stein. And then Alex Stein takes this baby doll and starts punching the baby doll, and then takes the baby doll and starts hitting the baby doll on the floor, then takes the baby doll and punts it. All the while you see Lara Trump right there, like, laughing and thinks that this is like a hilarious thing. And then Alex Stein, while Lara Trump, the chair of the RNC, is there, he then goes back, takes the baby doll, takes a lighter to the head of a baby doll, and burns the baby doll's head for no reason. I mean, there would never be a reason to justify for this at all. While Lara Trump is there laughing at this and finding this to be funny, absolutely repulsive. And I think that's the thing, that this is this behavior by them. It's not, I'm not liberal because I don't like that behavior. That behavior, apolitically, that behavior is disgusting. And that's what the Republican Party has become under a party that's been taken over by MAGA. And that's the kind of ghoulish type of things that Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lara Trump, that entertains them. It's why I wanted to bring it up one more time.
I'm starting to think this whole pro-life framing isn't exactly accurate for the folks punting fake babies on the sets and cracking up about it. I mean, you see the panic in Donald Trump now as he's going to face his first criminal trial for the first time in his life. Like, this is an incredibly serious thing that he is going up against. And now he's also facing the political headwinds of his own decisions. For the first time, really, folks are starting to pay attention to this election, and they're starting to pay attention to Donald Trump's statements. And we've been saying this now for a while, that once people start to in the masses start to see how crazy Donald Trump is and realize this is not even the same guy who he was 4 years ago, especially not 8 years ago, that they are going to realize that this is a completely demented human being in every sense of the word. And usually you have a candidate who tries to play to some sort of base, which was never even as crazy as this MAGA base. And then they try to moderate as the general election comes in. That ain't Trump. Trump isn't moderating anything. So people are going to see him making comparisons of himself to Al Capone. They're going to be seeing all this crazy stuff day in and day out. And he now has a record in which he is running on, which is a record of complete and utter disaster. And he's going to have to defend that record. So he knows that the abortion issue is a disastrous issue for him. There's no getting around it. And how do I know that he knows that it's a disastrous issue for him? Because he said it himself, even just recently. I'll pull up this message that he posted when he was yelling at Lindsey Graham for saying that his announcement on abortion, which was horrifically cruel, was not cruel enough. And Donald Trump wrote, I have it highlighted here on the bottom, many good Republicans lost elections because of this issue, and people like Lindsey Graham that are unrelenting are handing Democrats their dream of the House, Senate, and perhaps even the presidency. That's an acknowledgement from Donald Trump that he knows that this issue can sink his entire campaign. That's why he rushed out that panicked video of his earlier this week. And it was just an utter disaster. Like, the timing of that video could not have been any worse for the guy. Full stop. He announces it literally the day later, the Arizona Supreme Court basically goes, bet, you said that the states could do whatever they want. All right, we're the state Supreme Court. We're going to go back to 1864. And then Donald Trump is forced to defend his position in the states. And so Donald Trump then has to sort of play both sides of this issue. And he has to act like, oh, yeah, I'm for states' rights, but I guess I'm technically opposed to that decision. But the states have the rights to do what they want. And if the states want to imprison the doctors, they can imprison the doctors. But there's no winning the issue because you can't moderate on that issue. It's just not a thing where you can't hide at that point. The reality is out there. And for anybody thinking that like voters aren't seeing through this, voters are seeing exactly what is happening here. There were interviews today that MSNBC did with voters in Arizona about who do you blame for what's going on here, for what happened here. And here's what they had to say.
Well, I blame Donald Trump for the recalling of Roe versus Wade. That is what started this, that's for sure.
I blame the Republicans for this.
Well, it's hard not to blame the person who, back in 2015, really started this hateful movement, and Donald Trump has been at the center of that.
This party and Trump, they are like the dog that caught the car and then got rammed by a truck. Like that's where they are at right now. They don't know how to handle this issue whatsoever. I'm seeing so much internal drama right now within the Republican Party because Donald Trump's issue, frankly, just is not a consistent issue with this so-called pro-life stance of a lot of these far-right Republicans. Because, and I'll just say, if you truly believe that any form of an abortion is murder, if that's your true belief, then how could you allow any weeks? And so if Donald Trump goes, some states will have this, some states will have that, some states will have this, he ends up pissing off all the sides of the issue because he is putting in these draconian restrictions on women across America. He is ruining the lives of families across America. But then his base, a lot of these people who he tried to con, these evangelical Christians, are going to go, wait, but you think it's okay to do this at 1 week, at 2 weeks, at 6 weeks, at what? They're incompatible positions. So Donald Trump is finding himself right now in a place with indefensible positions all across the spectrum. And, the funny thing I was thinking about the other day is as you go down like this list, right, of, there's this quote unquote conservative position, right, which is leave it to the states, just leave it to the states. Well, let's get more micro, right? Let's keep going. You get the country, right? Leave it to the states, leave it to the county, leave it to the city, leave it to the woman. Yes, that's actually the small government position, to leave this decision between a woman and her doctor. And the coverage of this, though, also has just been driving me insane. I don't know if you've seen some of this. Like, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of good stuff, but like, it's like the New York Times is trying to like troll us at this point, I think. Did you see these headlines?
What goes on in their newsroom?
I really need to know. So the Arizona happens. There's mass outrage, right? These are their headlines from the New York Times. Arizona's abortion ruling spurs strong reactions, but may not sway voters. Then here's another headline. 2 imperfect messengers take on abortion. Neither side of the abortion divide would probably design the exact candidate they would have in 2024. And that article had a big picture of Trump and Biden on it.
What are they even talking about?
It's like they run their stories through like a both sidesism AI or something, and like they have to have like a equal weighting of some sort of BS like in their articles. How many times do we have to go through election after election after election after referendum after midterm before you know that people don't like their freedoms being taken away? Okay, like this is not something that people stand for. This is not something that any American stands for. It's not even just a women's issue. It's an American fundamentally issue about freedoms here, Ben.
And one sec, Brett, because you hinted on something there that I just really want to elaborate on. And it's that there's nothing pro-life about the MAGA Republican Party. What they are is they're pro-forced birth. Like, to your point, Brett, if you're truly pro-life MAGA and you believe that life begins at conception, then it makes no sense when they start going 6-week ban, 15-week ban. I mean, the messaging is just super inconsistent. All they're proving is that they're not pro-life. It's that they're pro-controlling women. So if you are, Brett, pro-life MAGA, right? Well, then why aren't they helping the underserved communities of children when all the bills come up for their schools to get breakfast and lunch? If you're so pro-life MAGA, then why aren't you helping, with common sense gun reform legislation when our students in schools are getting gunned down in history class? Like, you've showed your hand at this point, MAGA, and it's nothing to do with pro-life. You're just pro-controlling women.
Jordy, let me even make it closer. Abortion care is health care. And a lot of times the issues that women are facing when they seek reproductive care that may be classified as an abortion is actually things that they need for them to live, because there are complications that arose in the pregnancy that make the fetus non-viable. So in order for a woman to live and avoid infection and issues that could kill the woman, they need to get care and they need to consult their doctor. And then Donald Trump wants to gaslight and go, oh, the Democrats want 9-month abortions even after a woman gives birth. Look, these are very personal, very serious, very complicated issues that need to be resolved between a woman and her doctor, period, full stop. And you don't need men who don't know the first thing about women's reproductive care, who don't know a thing about women's anatomy, to be legislating on that. Crazy. How dare Donald Trump even say, I'm going to make a statement on this? Just get the hell out of it. And that goes for all you other MAGA Republicans. Stay out of it. It's not where government belongs, period, full stop. We've got a lot more show that we're going to have. I want to say this. We have a pretty cool thing we're doing after the show. So we're going to be on Michael Cohen's Patreon. Don't worry. If you want to meet Michael Cohen, you join Michael Cohen's Patreon. We're going to be special guests there. So if you want to meet Cohen on a special Zoom meeting before the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case starts, and if you want to say anything to Cohen or share messages, you could actually go to patreon.com/political beatdown. Brett, Jordy, and I are going to be there with Michael Cohen starting 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Don't worry. You don't have to join both if you don't want to, because we're going to then put the feed from the beatdown over here in case you miss it. So you'll be able to see it on the MeidasTouch feed. But if you did want to meet Michael Cohen or send him any messages in the chat tonight, in a pretty historic time, and we're going to be talking about that case in a little bit here on the show, join the patreon.com/political beatdown. And then if you can't make it, we'll then just put that video on the MeidasTouch Patreon feed. Let's take our first quick break of the show.
This episode of the MeidasTouch Podcast is brought to you by Manacora Honey, also known as honey with superpowers. Let me share something sweet with you, and I mean really sweet. It's something that's become a staple in my routine, and I think you are going to love it. I'm talking about Manacora Honey. When I say honey, you might be picturing those bear-shaped bottles in the supermarket, but that is not what this is. Manacora Honey is single origin, rich, creamy, and the most delicious honey you've ever had. It's supercharged with unique antioxidants and prebiotics, and is 3 times more than your average honey. Manacora Honey supports immunity, aids digestion, boosts energy, and helps balance inflammation. It's a game changer, and all you need is 1 to 3 teaspoons a day. On top of that, Manacora Honey has a natural antibacterial compound called MGO, only found in Manuka honey. So if you're looking for something simple and delicious to add to your wellness routine, we found your new healthy habit. And now it's easier than ever to try Manacora Honey with the starter kit. Just head to manacora.com/Meidas to get $25 off. The starter kit comes with an MGO 850 plus Manuka honey, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, plus a guidebook. Now, I love the jar and squeeze bottle, but the extra pack of compostable honey sticks is perfect for whenever you're on the go. You could bring them with you when you're traveling or need a quick snack running errands, and they are the perfect energy boost if you're out for a run or at the gym. That's manacora.com/Meidas to get $25 off your starter kit. This is the ultimate honey. Indulge and try some honey with superpowers from Manacora. Look, this stuff is amazing and really provides the pump I've been looking for. I look forward to Manacora every morning. Make sure you click the link in our description or head to manacora.com/Meidas and try some out today.
As you know, I'm a dad, and as the days go on, I'm learning that it's incredibly important what we give our children. Now, typically, children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. They're filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk growing kids should frankly never eat. That's why Hiya was created, the pediatrician-approved superpowered chewable vitamin. Now, while most children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and can contribute to a variety of health issues, Hiya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk, yet it tastes great and it's perfect for picky eaters. Hiya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment that our kids need with a yummy taste that they love. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else you could imagine. Now, Hiya is designed for kids of all ages and sent straight to your door so parents have one less thing to worry about. Like I said, I'm a dad and I want to make sure that I give my child the best possible vitamins, and that's why I'm so happy that I've come across Hiya Health. The ingredients are amazing and I don't have to worry about sugar or gummy junk because Hiya Health is made without that stuff and it's still able to taste great. Now, we've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. Now, to claim this deal, you have to go to hiyahealth.com/Meidas. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/Meidas and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors, man. Shout out Manacora. Brett, I think you're on mute. Shout out Manacora, man. I start my morning off with Manacora. You were just pumping me up. Nice. I start my mornings off with Manacora in my tea every morning. It's amazing. Definitely check it out. The links are in the description. And Hiya, when Hiya found out that I had baby Elijah, they're like, yo, we got to figure out a way to partner, y'all. And so they said, Hiya, Meidas Mighty. And so definitely check them out. They really did give us a really, really sweet deal on that. So check them out. Linked in the description.
Let me give us a bit of a legal breakdown. So this week, Trump tried 3 separate times. Once an attempt to stay the trial through an appeal.
Two, the 3 strikes are out here. This is a good one.
Yeah, well, 3 times this week. 1 attempted stay, 2 emergency Article 78 emergency appeal motions on various different grounds. I mean, one, he said that trial should be delayed because of problems with the venue, even though, I thought his adult man baby kid said, people love us in New York. They're cheering for us. Well, he says he can't get a fair trial in New York. That was rejected. He said the gag order so that he can't attack the judge's daughter was unfair, and that's why he wanted to delay trial. That was denied, and then Donald Trump claimed immunity for conduct that took place before he was in office, and the fact that because he was filing so many frivolous pretrial motions, Justice Merchan made him request approval if he wants to file things like a vexatious litigant. And Donald Trump said that pre-filing permission requirement unfair and unconstitutional and wanted to be delayed of that. The New York Appellate Division, different justices who heard these things, all rejected that. And that was a total of 10 attempts by Donald Trump to try to adjourn or stop this trial from taking place, folks. Jury selection is going to be taking place on Monday. I'll make this prediction right now, and then we'll roll the tape because it's a pretty easy prediction to make. Donald Trump's going to have his lawyers try to do everything possible to blow up the trial on the first day during jury selection. I bet you that they try to make a mistrial motion in the first day, if not the first 48 hours, and then try to go to the appellate division to stop this thing from happening. They're going to try every single game imaginable to try to stop this thing. It's a criminal case, not a civil case. That means Donald Trump's got to be there each and every day. He's got to sit there each and every day. He can't walk out during the proceedings. So it's actually very different, where in the civil cases, kind of show up when he wants to show up or only when he's testifying. He has to sit there each and every day of this felony criminal trial. And I want to say this too, Karen Friedman Agnifilo and I will be doing daily breakdowns. We're going to be doing one in the morning and then one in the afternoon as a recap. So you're all fully informed about everything that's happening in this criminal trial. If you go and look at our live feed today, you can see that we did one earlier today. We did one yesterday. We're going to do one tomorrow. Today's was incredible because look, Karen Friedman Agnifilo was the number 2 in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and she served as the acting district attorney at various times, meaning she was literally the top person in the district attorney's office. She worked there for nearly 30 years. While she was there in the earlier years, she worked with special counsel Jack Smith at the same time. She knows everything about that office. There's not a better expert, and she has so graciously agreed, and she wants to do this, provide all of the first insight to everybody here at the MeidasTouch Network first, before anybody else. And so she wants to democratize this process so you hear before others in the media hear anything about it. So check in daily for the updates. You'll see them on the live feed. And I want to thank Karen Friedman Agnifilo for doing that. And let me show you the clip of today's live that I did with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, where she talks about the severity and seriousness of this case as it relates to Donald Trump. Let's play it.
I had a reporter call me, and I've had 100,000 reporters calling me, and they want me to talk to them about this case. And over again, I get this question about, why this case? Is this serious? What, is this not what? Nobody thinks this is a serious case, right? They think in comparison to his other cases that this isn't a serious case. And interestingly, when I was talking to them about it, and trying to explain it, at first what I was saying was, well, I guess if you're somebody charged with 2 murders and a rape case, I guess, yeah, your robbery case is not as serious, right, in the context. But yet it's still serious. It's still a felony. You don't get away with a free robbery, right? You don't get any freebies here. And I was thinking about it like that. And that's how I was describing it to people, that this is still a felony. This is a really serious case. If you or I were charged with falsifying business records in the first degree, a felony indictment in the Manhattan DA's office, I can tell you right now, my life would be over. Business as we know it, life as we know it, I'm facing jail time. Like, this would be the thing that consumed me and every client that I represent, people who are faced with this. This is a serious case.
And I love how Karen puts it into plain terms, gives clear, unprecedented perspective, or to have a correspondent here at the MeidasTouch Network guiding us all through that process. I also want to mention, and I did a video on this, Judge Eileen Cannon in the Southern District of Florida Mar-a-Lago document case issued an order reversing herself. She applied the wrong legal standard. She said that Jack Smith needed to show a compelling government interest in order to stop Donald Trump from putting on the public docket confidential informants and other confidential information from the case that could get witnesses killed. The standard's actually a good cause standard, but regardless of the standard, as Special Counsel Jack Smith pointed out, when you get witnesses killed, that's also called manifest injustice. And I'm going to go to the 11th Circuit to remove you and get you reversed. And then so Judge Eileen Cannon had to confess that she applied the wrong standard because she's trying to stay on this case. She knows she's going to get thrown out if Jack Smith appeals her to the 11th Circuit. So in her order, talk about gaslighting, she blamed Jack Smith for not teaching her what the law is and what the correct standard is. And she said, it's your fault, Special Counsel, for only raising this on a motion for reconsideration, as if Jack Smith has to explain to her that potentially having witnesses get killed could cause manifest injustice. That's just how deranged and unhinged she is. She also finally set a CIPA Section 5 hearing, Classified Information Procedure Act hearing, where a criminal defendant says for the first time the types of classified documents they want to introduce at the time of trial. You may recall back in November, even October, Special Counsel Jack Smith informed her Hello, Judge Cannon, your new scheduling order did not include a SEPA Section 5 hearing or briefing schedule. She just ignored that, right? A good example where Jack Smith was actually educating her on SEPA, which she rejected. And then she just set the SEPA Section 5 hearing for like May 9th. One problem, Judge Cannon, you still have not changed the date of the trial, which is scheduled for May 20th. You haven't removed that date, even though you held a hearing on March 1st and said that July is too soon. So your incompetence equals your corruption, or your corruption is so flagrant that it is what it's like having Alina Habba become a judge and then get a complicated case involving classified information and then try to cling on to the case, but also do it in a completely idiotic way. What were you going to say, Brett?
I was going to say, and the case was about Donald Trump in this hypothetical scenario. Like,
exactly.
Because I think she would be treating this a whole lot different if this were somebody else and not Trump. I'm just saying.
Well, you have MAGA judges. You have earlier in the day MAGA podcast hosts like taking their lighter and like burning baby dolls while Lara Trump's on the show. You've got Donald Trump posting AI photos of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in lingerie. And you have the former Republican Speaker of the House, the spineless Kevin McCarthy, saying that the only reason he's not the Speaker is because MAGA Republican Matt Gaetz slept with a 17-year-old girl. Let's play this clip.
So was it this? You made a lot of concessions in the negotiations.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Is that
Let's get to the bottom of that.
Right?
That is such a misnomer in life. Let me give you the truth about that now. And I'll give you the truth why I'm not Speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. An ethics complaint that started before I ever became Speaker, and that's illegal, and I'm not going to get in the middle. Did he do it or not? I don't know. But ethics is looking at it. There's other people in jail because of it. And he wanted me to influence it.
What was that noise, though, he made in the beginning of that? Let me tell you.
It's the stole leaving his body. Every time he speaks, that's what he sounds like. And again, that was unprompted. Like, the question didn't even touch on any of that. He needed to get that off. He wanted to put that in.
And did you hear, like, when he said it, you heard, like, the crowd went, ooh.
Yeah. I felt like we were watching, like, Jerry Springer for a second.
Oh my God. I mean, but and the way he says it too is like, he's like, I'm not sure, like, would you get an Amber Alert or something? What's going on over there?
It's storming really bad here.
Well, I'll say that. Well, I Matt Gaetz. I'll leave what I was going to say.
I'm going to hold that joke up too.
I'll stop where I was going with that.
My mind went to the same place.
I haven't fully fleshed out that one
you
yet.
guys
So
are brothers.
I'll pull that one back. Brett. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene continues her quest to oust the current Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, calling him a Democrat, and she says that really the MAGA Mike who wants to ban IVF, MAGA Mike who literally voted to allow Donald Trump to do a coup, MAGA Mike is actually working for President Biden and working for Hakeem Jeffries. This is what the MAGAs are saying. Play this clip.
I don't know what changes someone. I don't know how someone goes from being pro-life, and I believe he is. He's a Christian. I believe that about him. This isn't a personal attack on Mike Johnson. That's not it for me. I don't know how he goes from that stance to funding full-term abortion clinics. I have no idea. Blackmail. That's what some people say. I don't have any proof of that. So for me, I'm telling you the truth. I do not know how someone changes so much. It doesn't make sense. And it's wrong. That's what I do know. It's wrong. And you can't be the Republican leader and you can't be the Republican Speaker of the House if you're passing all the major bills with all the Democrats, tying our hands behind our backs, not allowing us to make amendments, not following the rules that we voted on, and not following the 7 tenets that he gave us. If he's doing all that, he's not our Republican Speaker of the House. He's the Democrat Speaker of the House, and he's doing a better job than Hakeem Jeffries.
And that's where I just want to reflect again throughout this episode, throughout the coverage on our network, and just say, this is not normal. This can't be normal. And I'll borrow that language from a Reagan-appointed federal judge in Washington, D.C., who said that during the sentencing of a January 6th insurrectionist. This is not normal. We can't make this normal. And that to me spans like whatever the liberal, progressive, independent, conservative, whatever, like what you're seeing there in the Republican Party that's become full MAGA is not normal. And we're seeing again this week the command that Donald Trump has over these MAGAs in the House of Representatives, which is supposed to be a co-equal branch of government. So Donald Trump posted, "Kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others. They spied on my campaign," dated April 10th, 2024. And what Donald Trump was talking about is there was supposed to be a reauthorization of Section 702 of FISA. Don't worry, I'll explain what that means. But you saw what Donald Trump said on April 10th, 2024. Well, on January 18th or January 19th, 2018, Donald Trump said, "Just signed 702 bill to reauthorize foreign intelligence collection. This is not the same FISA law that was so wrongly abused during the election. I will always do the right thing for our country and put the safety of the American people first." Put the safety of the American people first, he says in 2018. And then in 2024, when President Biden is in office, Donald Trump says to kill that exact same reauthorization that Trump was bragging about in 2018. It's just a redo of Donald Trump killing the bipartisan border deal, which was negotiated by the conservative Republican senator from Oklahoma. Let me be clear what I believe is happening. Donald Trump wants there to be a terrorist attack before the election. Donald Trump wants there to be a chaos at the border. Donald Trump wishes you harm. He wishes me harm. He wants our country to suffer because he believes that paves for him to be a strongman dictator. And that's all the MAGA Republicans are running on, that a dictator can fix it and destroy the existing government, destroy the fabric of our government. By the way, when we're talking about FISA, just so you know what that is, again, it's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It was first passed in 1978 as a response to some of the abuses by Richard Nixon and in the intelligence community. It created a FISA court, an FASC, where there are federal judges. Now I believe it's 11 rotating Article 3 federal judges who have to get declarations from the intelligence community. They then issue something that's kind of like a warrant. They issue a FISA order that allows surveillance. Now, Title I of FISA deals with USPRS, U.S. persons. Section 702 deals with foreign persons, deals with people outside. So the reauthorization of Section 702 has nothing on doing with surveillance of people who are spies in the United States of America, which is what Title I is, which is still a very serious thing. But Title I has all these other requirements as well, because it could be a U.S. citizen who's being used by foreign agents to cause us harm. Now, Section 702 deals with like terrorist groups abroad, like Russia, Iran, North Korea, other foreign governments that wish us harm. What you do in a FISA Section 702 order is you deal with certain categories of foreign surveillance. And if the foreign spies or the foreign agents are speaking with someone in the United States, sometimes that can get picked up in a Section 702 order. And so what you would be dealing with is who in the United States would be talking to people abroad who are trying to, engage in terrorist attacks or cause harm here, or who's speaking with Russian agents. Well, we know, for example, the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives were using foreign agents from the CCP as well as foreign agents from Russia as their key fake whistleblowers against Biden. So it would be possible that their communications would be caught up in a 702 order if you were targeting Russian intelligence and if you were targeting other foreign or CCP intelligence, because they're communicating with these people. So that's one of the reasons why the MAGA Republicans do not want Section 702 renewed. Let me be very clear. There is a discussion and a debate that needs to balance privacy rights and civil liberties against government intrusion. That's not what's happening here, though, with the MAGA Republicans. They're just lying about what the issue even is. And not only that, they are killing their own rule to even allow intelligent debate and discussion to even happen for this issue to go on the floor. And then you have, Matt Gaetz responding to Donald Trump's post like, I'm on it, boss. I'm on it. I'm going to kill FISA. I mean, FISA is an important way that our intelligence agencies protect us at home. And then they all respond, all the MAGA Republicans, Gaetz, Jim Jordan, Boebert, Biggs, Bishop, Rosendale, Fry, Ogles, I can go on. Get a warrant, hashtag FISA. But again, the issue is that a FISA court gives an order which is analogous to a warrant when these threshold standards are met. And 702 is about foreign, not domestic, unless domestic is communicating with a terrorist group or Russian spies abroad. Think about that. We've got a lot to talk about on this episode as well. I just wanted to break down so you all know what they mean. Oh, I should mention this.
I can't imagine us to be gathering intelligence from places like Russia, these Republicans. I just can't imagine.
As Aaron Fisher reports, amid discussions of whether and when Speaker MAGA Mike Johnson will bring a Ukraine funding bill to the floor, the GOP majority just noticed that the Rules Committee will meet Monday to prepare the bills below for floor consideration in the House next week. Sadly, this is not a joke. So here are the types of rules they are passing, that they want to pass these bills next week. Hands off our Home Appliance Act, Liberty in the Laundry Act, Clothes Dryer Reliability Act, Refrigerator Freedom Act, Affordable Air Conditioning Act, Stop Unaffordable Dishwasher Standards Act. Folks, I am not making that up. That's actually the rules that they want to pass and they want to talk about. The same way last week they wanted to change the name of Dulles International Airport to Trump International Airport. One point I'll make too, Trump stock continuing to crash in the past week, down 28.96%. More horrible headlines as well about Trump media. You have one of the founders of the SPAC accusing a current Trump media director of hacking their files to lead a coup d'etat, a corporate coup d'etat, the Trump SPAC founder is saying, against the Trump SPAC founder, that the new Trump media director launched a corporate coup. This is as all of the Trump founders are suing Trump, Trump suing the founder, Trump suing the person who started the SPAC. You've got the independent auditor, BF Borgers, has a 100% deficiency rating by the entity PCAOB that regulates these public auditors. 21 files. PCAOB found 21 deficiencies in each of them. There's also other serious kind of regulation bans and prohibitions in Canada, in Colorado and elsewhere. The Financial Times reported that. We did a whole hot take on that. That's the independent auditor. And still, you give the independent auditor some credit, even with those like that horrible background of the independent auditor. At least the independent auditor said that Trump media likely won't be able to exist as a going concern based on its massive losses. So is there anything more Trumpian than that? When we come back, Brett, I want you to share some good news about the Biden campaign, which is actually doing the things it's supposed to be doing. Let's talk about some more Biden statements, Biden policy. And I want to remind everybody, if you ever wanted to meet Michael Cohen, who will be a witness in the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case, I want to keep this this Patreon light, this Zoom meeting with Michael light, because I know he's really stressed out and he's having trouble sleeping. So I really want it to be a way just to show support to him and maybe ask him about favorite movies and things like that. So if you ever wanted to meet Cohen and ask him about that, patreon.com/political beatdown. After the show at around 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, we will be there. And you can meet Brett, Jordy, and I, and Michael Cohen. Don't worry if you don't want to join another Patreon. I Trust me, I get it. We will put that feed up on our feed after the recording is done, so you'll be able to see it on the MeidasTouch Patreon. Let's take our last quick break of the show. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. And we cover it here on the MeidasTouch Network. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds. It offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber 8x8 and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Meidas. That's oracle.com/Meidas. oracle.com/Meidas.
420 is just around the corner. Luckily with Via, you could celebrate the right way. Via's hemp products are the Swiss Army knife of wellness. Need to chill out after a long day? There's a Via gummy for that. Dealing with anxiety or stress? There's a gummy for that. Want to set the mood in the bedroom? There's a gummy for that. Because Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a low dose of THC, all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. Now we're talking about pairing aphrodisiac herbs with a mild amount of THC. Their best-selling High Love gummy will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any romantic experience. Via also offers a wide array of other gummies, with and without THC. Each with their own unique strengths and effects catered to your routines. Now, whether you're looking for better sleep, relief, or a nice buzz, Via has something for you. And the best part, Via legally ships in all 50 states with discreet packaging directly to your door. No medical card required. So if you're 21 and older, you can get 15% off a free pack of award-winning Dreams THC plus CBN sleep gummies with code Meidas at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Via's best-selling High Love gummy is my personal favorite, and it gets me feeling relaxed. Their products have great flavor and are made with vegan and organic ingredients, and I couldn't recommend this enough. Head to viahemp.com and use code Meidas to receive 15% off plus one free sample of their Sleepy Dream gummies. 21 and older. That's VIIAHEMP.com and use code Meidas at checkout. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Celebrate 420 the right way with Via. Happy holidays. Let's go. Let's go, folks. Shout out Oracle. Click that link in the description. Like I said, we beat the record last time for them. I want to show them that we could do that up. And shout out Via, man. They've hooked it up with so many fun gummies. Check it out. If that's your type of thing, check it out. They sent me a whole bunch. They're very generous to the network with the products that they sent us. And I could speak on behalf of it. It's pretty freaking great. So check it out.
Brett, we talked the first 65-70% of the show showing all of this MAGA chaos. And as I've reiterated, it's not normal, that behavior. Having the leader of the Republican Party post AI images of a district attorney in a bathing suit, not normal behavior. Having a leader of the Republican Party make selfie videos just cursing, not normal behavior. Having Donald Trump change the lyrics of the national anthem as the leader of the Republican Party with January 6th insurrectionists, calling them hostages. 27 of 29 in the DC jail have been accused of or have been convicted of assaulting police officers. We're talking about people who attacked Officer Sicknick, who later died of his injury, people who threw explosives at police officers. Again, that's not normal behavior at all. And then you look at what President Biden is doing. People may have disagreements about President Biden's policies, or, I think President Biden's personally, I think, is doing a great job, but we can have debates and discussions on policies. But Biden's doing things like finalizing the most significant gun safety law in decades. Biden announced a plan for a national 12-week paid family leave in his budget. The Biden campaign is doing things that campaigns are supposed to do. So in many ways, this is just as much about competence and normalcy and actually doing policy as it is about anything else. Brett, take it away.
Yeah, so I think we'll start here. First, this is President Biden saying he'd rather be electrocuted than eaten by sharks. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? That's how crazy it is, folks. When I put it in that framing, aren't you like, what the heck is going on here? Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna start with the Biden campaign and the Joe-mentum of the Biden campaign, and then we'll shift to the policy and we'll speak to some of the accomplishments and the policy proposals by the Biden administration. And first, I want to go back now to what we were discussing earlier in the episode, which is the abortion issue, this horrific law that has been upheld by the Arizona Supreme Court. And I also just want to say this is why voting is so important. The Attorney General, Chris Mays of Arizona, she says that they're not going to prosecute people for violating this law. She won her election by literally hundreds of votes. That is why every single vote is so important. And there's also going to be a referendum on this very issue on the November ballot. Republicans really overstepped in a big way, and they are to blame for all the havoc that they have wrought. And President Biden is not going to let them get away with it. So what I love about this campaign and what they've been doing, I think so effectively, more so than any campaign that I've ever seen, is their rapid response is on point. Within days now, they have a 7-figure ad buy. They have a new ad across the state of Arizona, and I'm sure they'll expand this to other states as well, speaking about this exact issue, this abortion ban that was just implemented in the state. Here's the new ad from the Biden campaign. Check this out.
Because of Donald Trump, millions of women lost the fundamental freedom to control their own bodies. And now, women's lives are in danger because of that. The question is, if Donald Trump gets back in power, what freedom will you lose next? Your body and your decisions belong to you, not the government, not Donald Trump. I will fight like hell to get your freedom back. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
It's a really great ad. It's the right tone. That ad is called Power Back. Like I was saying before, it's part of a 7-figure investment in Arizona television and digital to remind folks that Donald Trump is the one responsible for the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And one of the things that I like that President Biden does in that ad there is that he's speaking to these issues in terms that go across party lines that are fundamentally American. He's speaking about it in the context of freedom and Republicans taking away your freedom and Donald Trump coming for more of your freedoms. And he's speaking about it as get the government off my back, which is something that not only Democrats can relate to, but Republicans can relate to. If they are truly believing their conservative principles, that is a defining conservative principle, is leave people alone. And so you see there Biden playing to this audience of independents, of Democrats, of Republicans across the political spectrum who do not want these draconian laws placed on them. There's a lot of good news too about fundraising. We've been speaking about Democratic fundraising, and Democratic state candidates have seen the best fundraising haul in history. They're hauling a massive amount of grassroots fundraising. This isn't billionaires pouring money in. These are people in states where it matters, contributing money for these state races. State Democratic candidates raised $6.9 million in the first quarter of 2024. That's the strongest first quarter for state level candidates in history, thanks to this engagement by donors in these high stakes down ballot races. You got to vote up and down the ticket. It's so important that you vote up and down the ticket. You have the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee. They support these Democratic candidates for the state legislators. They've already raised nearly $28 million towards their $60 million goal for the 2024 election cycle. And the money is important. I wish we didn't have to deal with money in politics, but we do. And if we're playing in that playing field, we need to excel in it. And here is why it's impactful. We showed you on the last episode of the show how President Biden had made all these ad reservations for around the time of the election in the presidential race. When you make ad reservations on TV, you're basically paying in advance and you're reserving those time slots, which means that because of President Biden's fundraising advantage right now over Donald Trump, even if Donald Trump wanted to reserve a lot of this airtime later on, he will not be able to because the Biden campaign has reserved a lot of these slots. And if you look across the presidency, the Senate races, the House races, you see the disparity in ad reservations across the board. So here, I'll pull this up. Democratic advertisers have a significant head start in fall reservations for presidential, Senate, and House general. So here is where the totals are as they are currently for between August and November reservations. Presidency, Biden has committed $130 million. The Trump campaign, $0. For Senate, the Democrats have $256 million of ad reservations. The Republicans have $129 million in ad reservations. For the House, Democrats have $77.4 million in ad reservations. The Republicans only have $348,000 in ad reservations. I mean, these are like mind-blowing statistics. And you got to wonder, like, is there anybody competent at the RNC? Is there anybody competent in this Trump
Dude,
campaign?
Lara. Go, Lara, go. She's doing a great job, Brett. Just go. You keep doing you, Lara. Go, Lara, go.
I'm sure she'll take care of it. Good luck, Lara. That's good luck, Republicans. That's all I got to say. There was this Pew Research poll Ben was speaking about earlier, and the reason why I want to bring it up is this isn't like one of those horse race polls. This is a poll about demographics and where people stand on the issues with what parties they stand with. And the reason why I think this is important is because it completely debunks this entire narrative that has been pushed by Republicans, by a lot of the legacy media. This narrative that there's this huge, massive realignment, the biggest realignment since the civil rights era, where you have Black voters and Hispanic voters. They're all turning Republican. There's these huge swaths of voters that are becoming Republicans. And what this Pew poll showed is that that's not true at all. And like young voters and things like that, like they're just like, yeah, it's when you look at the data here, it's across all categories relatively the same like that it was years and years and years ago. There's been fundamentally like no change at the end of the day, completely debunking all of these narratives, which I'm just getting tired of. And this doesn't surprise me because when we've seen the data from the special elections, we haven't seen this shift. They keep claiming there's a shift, but we have actual elections that take place. And none of the elections, none of the special elections, none of the referendums, none of them show even close to a shift. So that's why you can't buy this right-wing MAGA propaganda that they just flood the zone with. It never turns out to be accurate, ever. Follow the data. Let me switch now to the Biden administration. The Biden administration finalized the most significant gun safety law in decades. This will be a significant increase in gun safety regulation by removing that loophole at gun shows. I'm sure you've heard of this gun show loophole, which is, it's crazy that this even exists, but it clarifies that you have to conduct background checks for people buying guns at these gun shows, which you currently like don't have to even do. They're subject to these much looser federal regulations than these vendors who sell at actual brick and mortar stores. So you would have people who can't otherwise get weapons, get firearms, go to these gun shows, get a gun, no questions asked. I remember I saw some of these videos. I forgot where. It may have been like a Vice thing or something a few years ago, where literally like a 13-year-old would walk into one of these gun shows, ask for a gun, they'd be able to buy it because there's no regulations on these places and the sellers are never checked for it. Like this is an important thing. This is one of the most significant moves forward for gun safety regulation that we've seen in decades. And so hopefully it leads to more gun safety out there. And I think this is a good way to both protect people's Second Amendment rights and also ensure gun safety. I also want to highlight this plan that Biden announced for a national 12-week paid family leave in his 2025 budget. If you remember, one of Biden's common phrases that he has repeated over and over again is, don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value. And it's clear that Biden is somebody who lives by that creed. While Republicans could say they care about, Jordy, to your point earlier, yeah, I care about life, we care about this, we care about that. Whenever they put their budgets forward and it cuts programs for kids in school or cuts school lunches or cuts the child tax credit, you're showing people your actual values. It doesn't matter what you actually say, you are showing them. And so here's what President Biden is showing us. This is what he wants to accomplish in 2025. He's called for 12 weeks of paid family or medical leave, large investments in preschool for 4-year-olds, the extension of a child tax credit to help working families, and investments to give families access to high quality childcare for $10 a day as part of this budget. He had this event where he reiterated his support for care workers in the audience, saying all this helps families and it grows the economy. We cannot afford not to do it. And this is also a reminder that not everything rests with the presidency. Everything rests with voting for the Democrats, voting for pro-democracy candidates up and down the ballot who are going to pass policies that actually help the people. So President Biden has this vision. This is what he wants to accomplish. He will need a House and a Senate to do that. And that's just how things work. But I think it shows you when we started this, speaking about Donald Trump stripping away freedoms, taking away people's rights, bragging about being similar to Al Capone. And now we're speaking about paid family leave and we're speaking about gun safety. I think it paints a very clear contrast and a clear picture as we head through these months.
Look, Donald Trump has no principles, no values. It's all me, me, me. That's why MAGA stands for nothing and falls for everything. When we all embarked on this journey, we didn't really come from a political background. So I think we initially thought it was more about kind of picking a team or picking a tribe more than anything. And as we evolved through this process, what I think you and I, Jordy, all of us came to learn or feel in our heart is it's less about a candidate. It's less about a person that excited us. It's more about the values and the principles that we believe in and that we want to stand for and sacrifice and do everything in the name of, right? When that comes to pro-democracy, when that comes to freedom, when it comes to truly what our Constitution says, not in a performative way, when it comes to making our country better, when it comes to leading with empathy, when it comes to leading with love and trying to bring people together, when it comes to kindness and rejecting this mean-spiritedness, when it comes to understanding the threats that are posed by MAGA, when it comes to supporting our allies, when it comes to being an ally for women, when it comes to being an ally for the LGBTQ plus community, when it comes to being an ally for marginalized groups, when it comes to using our platform to empower people, when it comes to protecting seniors, protecting women's reproductive rights, when it comes to protecting veterans, principles and values are what guide us and what guides this network. And when that aligns with politicians and politics, that becomes kind of, our niche about why we're supporting people over other people. It's about values and principles. And what I respect so much about President Biden is that he leads with a set of clearly defined principles and values, and you know where he stands on these issues, where you could have disagreements with it, but you know where he stands. You know that he's going to responsibly protect, defend, and preserve our democracy and put the interest of we, the people, above the interests of himself. I don't even think he even thinks about the interests of himself as even a thing that's on a hierarchy of wants and needs, where that is the number one thing that Donald Trump wakes up every day and thinks about. Me, self-preservation, and how he can harm other people to help him out. And when we talk about this network, this beautiful pro-democracy community, I think first and foremost about the values and principles that this community stands for and promotes. And for that, we are so grateful for all of you as this community continues to grow, as it continues to be a force for good. We are nothing without the support of the Meidas Mighty out there. We are so humbled and so grateful for you. So now we're going to switch over in a few minutes, about 10 minutes. So we'll that Zoom with Michael Cohen. It's at patreon.com/political beatdown. The secret link is on the Beatdown Patreon, not on the MeidasTouch one. But don't worry, if you don't have to join that one. So don't worry if you don't. We're going to post all of the Cohen stuff, that interview, on the MeidasTouch Patreon if you're a member. But we thought it would be fun to show our support to Cohen, to be there for Cohen, and do that Zoom with Cohen on his channel. He's going through a lot. I know how stressed he is, and I don't really want to even talk about the case. I want to talk about like movies and fun things. And if you want to meet Cohen and wish him well, patreon.com/political beatdown. No worries if you can't make it. I'll send him your regards regardless. And I want to thank Karen Friedman-Agnifilo as well for doing those daily takes on the Manhattan District Attorney case. Every morning, you'll get to see a live take from Karen Friedman-Agnifilo and myself, but I'll let Karen do most of the talking. And then in the afternoon, Karen will give recaps once the trial starts each and every day. So you have the full information first from the foremost expert on that office in Karen Friedman-Agnifilo, the former #2 district attorney in Manhattan. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. We're grateful for you. Jordy, take it away.
Shout out to the Meidas Mighty!
The Meidas Mighty standing strong against the fascists. We sing our song. We will get it right whenever.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. The film Against All Enemies, which I co-produced with Ben Meiselas and this network, has won awards around the world for its up-close portrayal of America's insurrectionist movement. It premieres in the U.S. on March 29th on Amazon and Apple TV. Go to againstalllenemiesfilm.com or click the link below. But don't just watch Against All Enemies. Tell your friends about it. It's one more way to hold accountable those who threaten our democracy. Thanks, Meidas Mighty. Let's use our power well.